All right, microphone on. Cool. Welcome back, guys. Last video, we tore this thing apart, found the damage, and now we're gonna put it back together. So these have been to the machine shop. They are cleaned for the most part. Oil pan's been through the washer, heads. I got everything taken apart, then cleaned up as best as I can, which, I mean, everything came out pretty good. So these look brand new, almost. So we're gonna throw this thing together this video. We'll do some cam bearings. I don't have the new crank yet. It should be here tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with that. But I got a baffle for the oil pan to stop this from happening again, because you know, you have an LS2 and an SUV and you want to have fun with it. So yeah, we want to stop that from happening again. So we're going to throw this baffle into the oil pan to stop the oil from moving away from the pickup tube, to stop the oil starvation issue that these always have. So let's get right into it, you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate you watching, and yeah, let's do it. Okay, first things first, I made a little bit of a mess here, so I'm going to clean up a little bit, so just so I can see what I'm doing, and I don't have to search for things, because there's just tools everywhere. I've seen worse, so we're in good shape. Is that it? Okay, maybe it wasn't a huge mess. So, all right. So we got to get this baffle in this oil pan. So this is the baffle. This is made by a fella named Kevin Hansen, and he doesn't really have a shop. He just does this out of his garage, I think, or I don't know. Anyways, you just send him an email, and he'll send one of these to whichever address you tell him that you want it sent to. This one is number 3279. So he's made quite a few of these, and people say they work really well. So yeah, here's the card. There's his card with his email on it. You just send him an email asking about the Trailblazer SS oil pan baffle, and he'll send you a sticker and the baffle with some rivets. So yeah, Trailblazer WizWorks accessories. He also does other stuff like you know, the stuff that it says on the back of his card. So that's pretty cool. We had a nice little chat, and he seems like an awesome dude. So yeah, go get you one of these so you don't blow up your LS2 again, and then you wouldn't have to be watching this video. Anyways, this requires a little bit of a measurement, so let me get you guys in here real quick so you guys can see what I'm doing. So here we are inside this oil pan here. We got the baffle. Let me take these rivets out here. I'm happy he included these rivets because I don't have any. Anyways, this slips in here like this, so it faces this way. So the tabs should face the front of the oil pan, which is this way. It even says against the axle tube, because this is an axle tube. So naturally this goes against that. Face forward, you know, plenty of clear instructions on how to install this thing. He will email you with some pictures and brief instructions on how to measure for the holes, because you do have to drill holes here and there. But basically, you just kind of got my pick here so I can scratch some holes. Slide it forward, mark your holes in that direction. And then mark them on the deal in the other direction. So come on, settle down. We're getting too out of control here. Then there we go, and that'll do. Oops. So, I don't know if you've seen that, but basically, let me pull this out of here. Hey! Settle down. Okay, come on. My hand is in my hand's way. So, how does that work? I don't know. Okay, got it out. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I scored a line here. Center of the hole. Same thing on this side. And you can see those lines when this is fully in place. Also, when it was in place, I scooted it forward till I could see the holes and scored a line in this tray here and just intersected those two lines with my pick. That way I know where to drill. So, make these two intersect and that'll be the hole. Right about there. So, yep, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Okay, let's get the old drill out. It even says what size, so 3/16. Jeez, why do I keep doing that? That's super loud, super annoying. I don't know, maybe because my name is Jeff. And that doesn't make any sense, so. Anyways, 3/16 right here. Feels kind of dull. Might have to hold on. What's this one? 13/64. Okay. What is this? Another 3/16. Yes, it is, and this one is sharper than that one. So, sharper than that one. So, I'm going to use my hole punch. Hey! Assault on my eardrums. Oops. Jeez. Ah! Oh, it's like a megaphone right in your ear. One more, for good measure. Ah. Jeez. That's obnoxious. Okay, one thing I am going to do, if you have... Damn. That was a huge spider on me. Jeez. Where did he come from? Ooh. Okay, anyways. Magnet. This is steel. This is aluminum. So, drill shavings are going to go into the pan, and I don't like that idea. So, I'm going to throw this magnet right here. And maybe not right there. Yeah, maybe right there. So, just to catch all the shavings that feel like they want to go into my nice clean oil pan that I just had cleaned for money and whatnot. So, yeah. magnet will keep them in place. For the most part, yep, it's catching most of them. She's walking around. Okay, come on. I'll just put it back there. Remember to go slow. Not create too much heat with your drill bit. That's how you get dull drill bits. This magnet seems to have magnetized the tray. So, okay, well, probably still gonna have to get some of them pieces out of there, but that's okay, because that's something that we can do. Anyways, next side. Make sure my holes are correct. Oh yeah, center to center. Perfect. Let's get her down here. And that's all she wrote. Hopefully this magnet caught all those. Alright, there's a little bit. Let's just go around the bottom of this with the magnet there. Make sure to pick up all the filings that did fall in there. This here. Yeah. Okay. Good. There we go. Come on. Get on the magnet. All aboard! Train's leaving the station. Okay. The holes are in. Now, let's make sure they are in the right spot. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Ouch. Okay. Rivets. Let's get the rivets in there. Perfection. Yes. Okay. Let me grab my rivet gun. Got the old manual rivelator. The old click fast. The old click fast. Okay. Just hammer it in place here. And just squeeze her on in. There we go. There's the thing there. This got nice and lined up. Ooh, that's solid. Okay, next. Gotta hammer this guy in just like the other guy. And there we go. She's in there now. Squeeze. And a squeeze. Ouch. Jeez. Okay. Baffle installed. So, that looks great. It's nice and solid. And I believe that'll do the trick. Yeah, that's it. That's literally the whole process. So, moving on. I think we can either put some cam bearings in the engine block, or we can lap some valves. We still have to put the rocker arm trunnion upgrade into the rocker arms as well. We got to soak the lifters. Let me think about it, and I'll come back to you. Okay, I thought about it. Not too hard, but yeah. I think we're just gonna do cam bearings next. Might as well. It's not a extensively long process. So these are Durabond CH25s. for the Gen 4 LS. These are a bit wider than the CH10s. And yeah, so these should work just fine. It even tells you which ones go where. So let's do that real quick. So let's get these cam bearings in here. Let me grab my the old cam bearing slam bang machine here, and we'll send these things home. So let me get you guys a better view, get you a little closer up. Okay, so it tells you where each one goes because the bores are different between the positions. So it says, let's see, the CH25-1 goes in position 1 and 5. So these are stamped with a number. There we go. It's kind of hard to see, but CH25-1. And they put them in the box in the correct orientation as well. So they go just like this. 1 goes here, 2 goes in 2, 3 goes in 3, 4 goes in 4, and 5 goes in 5. So let's get them in there with the old slam bang machine. Also, something that is extremely important is these have holes for the oil galleys. There's only one on the LS engine, so as long as you line one of them up and make sure it's in the right spot, then you'll be okay. But let's get this last one in there first. We're going to do number 5. We're going to do number 5 first, so we can slide this guy all the way back to the back there. Then what you want to do is make sure it's orientationed correctly. Throw it on your slammer there. Oop, come on. Get on there. Make sure. One last time. Throw it in there. And you grab your dead blow. Voila. Hold the cone in place so it's straight. And you just start tapping them in. Give her the old tap, tap, taparoo. Make sure she's in the right position there. Real quick, I'm going to pull that out and make sure she's right before I get too deep into it. It looks like it might have shifted just a little bit, but I think it'll still be okay. Oh yeah, she'll be fine. She's good to go. Now let's get her the rest of the way in there. Then, when you get close, just want to pull her out, give her a little looky-loo. Make sure you didn't go too far, and make sure you're in far enough. So, maybe a couple more slam bangs here, and she'll be just fine. And just keep giving her a little peek. She can go in a little bit more. Little more. Yeah. Okay. Maybe one more hit there. 2 more. Okay, we gave her 2. Yeah, perfectly centered. Okay. So, awesome. I like that. And then next thing I like to do, get you a little pick and just make sure you can poke that oil hole and make sure it actually goes in behind there. So, It looks good to me. Let's move on to the next one. Alright. Pull this guy out of here. Stick her on. So, she looks pretty good there. Oop. Look at that. Keep her in place there. That's all she wrote. Oh, now, I don't know if I'll be able to get that thing out of there. Okay. Let's see what happens here. You guys good? Can you see? Let's see what we can do with this here. Well, now what? Let me figure that out. I'll come back to you.
2,000 years later.
Okay, figured it out. Got the head off of that thing in there. This is what I was doing. I was lining these up. If you look all the way down, you can see they're fairly in a straight line, but the other side has them too. But if you see right behind it, there's nothing. So what I was doing with this pick was just making sure it goes in somewhere, because there's an oil galley behind there, and yeah, you can see it here. This little casting goes from there, actually goes straight up into there too, so the lifters get their oil first, and then once all the lifters have oil, it'll start, pressure will seep down here, lube the cam bearings, and then lube each crank bearing. That's what those holes are. So yeah, cam bearings are in with the old Slam Bang 5000 here. That's a handy tool. Pick you one of them up from Amazon, about $50. So anyways, next we can actually get the cam in here now. So let's do that. Okay, so this, oh, not enough room. Hold on. Set it right there, right there. There we go, sure. This is the camshaft. The old bump stick. This is the sloppy stage 2. I believe this is the original version made by Elgin, the Elgin E1840P. And this is what makes your engine go blah 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 blah, you know, and all the good race car noises. So we're going to be putting this thing in that thing, but we got to clean it up first because they come with weird lube on it, and I like to just make sure they're clean, and I like to put my own assembly lube on it. So we'll go ahead and grab some brake clean here, spray it on a rag, and wipe her down one last time. Hey. Good pressure on that. So I'll just clean her up a little bit. Make sure all the lobes are clean. You gotta have clean bumps on your bump stick. So switch sides now. Oh, I'm already ripped open. So every time, seems like every time I go to clean a camshaft, my glove rips off. So whew. Whew. A little bit less oxygen than I'm used to here, so whew. Okay, I need to figure something else out here. Another paper towel. Pretty simple process, huh? Sure. Oh, now this one ripped up. I think it's the brake clean that's doing it. Yeah. Okay, so I'll get some more of those. They are called disposable for a reason. Come on. Okay. Watch, as soon as I touch this thing. Nope, okay, we're good. We're good. So, spray all that. You guys see that? Compressor came on. I didn't even flinch. Pretty proud of that. Normally that thing scares the socks right off of me, so. Anyways. Clean. Okay. Now, let's get her in the engine. Alright guys, I learned this from another YouTuber that I watch. He runs a channel called That Engine Guy. And after he puts his cam bearings in, before he installs the cam, what are my dogs barking at? My dog's barking at someone. When he installs the cam, he does it dry. He installs it dry first, just to make sure that the cam bearings are straight and not cockeyed in there or anything. So that's what I'm going to do. They have a little bit of lube on them from when I installed them, so that's fine. I just want to make sure that these bearings are straight. Oh yeah, I think I got a package at the door. That's why my dogs are going crazy. Yeah, let's just make sure that these bearings are straight in their bores there. And bang this thing around some more. I should probably be more careful with this. So go a little slow. Okay, now she's in. See if she spins. No tough spots. Oh yeah, those are straight as an arrow. Now what we can do is just back it out a little bit. Okay, sorry, my camera died. I don't know what I was in the middle of saying, but we just put the camshaft in dry to check if the bearings are straight. They are straight. Now all you got to do is back it out a little bit and then dribble a little bit of lubage on the lobes and the bearings there. So go ahead and do that. Hold on. Let me get you a better view real quick. I don't think you guys can see what I'm doing here. There we go. I'll show you how good this spins in here. Oops, shoot. Yeah, buddy. Nice and straight. Good cam bearings. So now we can just get a little bit of assembly lube on there. A lot of bit. And this guy here. Spread this one out. Just because I don't want it dripping all over everything. So go ahead and slide these back in there. Give them a twirl. Nice. And that's how you do that. We got the bump stick in the bump stick hole, so let's give her a little bit more. That's probably just going to drip right off anyway. So anyways, that one's on there. Now we can put the retainer plate back on. Throw this old galley barbell in there. Where'd it go? Where'd I put it? What'd I do with it? What happened to it? Where'd it go? I lost it. What the heck? What's going on here? Oh, there it is. I found it, guys. False alarm. Almost lost my cool there for a second. So this guy here, I've explained this many times. Upgrade your oil diverter to an aluminum with 2 O-rings on the front. And I'll explain why in a moment. In a moment. Just gotta get this screw out of here. Screw out. Lube on. Barbell in. Okay. The reason why I suggest replacing those with the aluminum version I just showed you, I cleaned this off and If you've seen one of my shorts, I just made a really long short about this, and it is important to replace those because there's no O-ring on the front of this. And when I pulled mine out, there were metal bearing chunks all up in this. So what this does, oil comes from the oil pump. This goes in here, right? And this stops right in between these two. So oil comes in straight from the oil pump. This stops it from going any further and diverts it up into the oil filter or down into the oil filter when the engine's right side up. Oil filter does its oil filter things and takes all the junk out of the oil and whatnot, and then it sends it back down this one, which then it can go to the lifters, the camshaft, and the crankshaft. But this doesn't have O-rings on it, so oil gets past that and just goes right past the oil filter. I hope you guys can see this. Hold on. Right past the oil filter. Also letting not just oil pass the oil filter, but any debris or dirt or metal particles past your oil filter into your cam bearings, into your lifter bores, into your crankshaft bearings. And so that's why I always replace these. This is the OEM style plastic with that billet aluminum piece that I just showed you, because it lets no oil past your oil filter. Modern oil filters these days have bypass valves on them, so you don't need a bypass valve. I had somebody comment saying that this acts as a bypass when your filter gets clogged and stuff like that, but if your engine is to the point where your oil filter is clogged that bad that it needs to use this as an oil filter bypass, then I think you have bigger problems than what type of barbell that you're using in your engine. So go grab an aluminum one of those. It might just save your engine one day. So anyways, replace those with a good one. The aluminum ones are just better. They're just better. Just better. You can't tell me otherwise. We can get this cam retainer plate on there. Let's do that real quick. Okay, so whenever you're doing anything with your cam on your LS or your 5.3 or your 6 liter or your 4.8 or anything with this style of block, which would be an LS based anything, replace the cam retainer plate. Always replace the cam retainer plate every time, because this seal goes flat. Like, I'm talking flat as a pancake. Goes flat. That's just what it does. That's what they do. So here's the old one. I don't know if you can see how flat it is. That seal was gone. Completely gone. And if that seal goes gone, you won't get an oil leak outside of your engine, but these are your galleries for your lifters, oil galleries that lube the lifters and pressurize them. And if oil leaks out of here, then you lose oil pressure, because this is the first place the oil goes after the oil filter, is your lifter galleries. So we want to make sure that's sealed, and putting a flat seal back on is probably not the greatest idea in the world, so we replace them every single time. So I got this from good old mail. Good old mail. Here is the part number right there. Comes with this. I got it from Michigan Motorsports on Amazon, and it came with ARP bolts. So this will be locked in place with the best fasteners known to man, ARP. So let me get these opened up and we'll get that thrown on there. Okay, so good old ARP wants you to put their goop on everything. So that's what we're going to do, which I don't mind it. It just gets a little messy sometimes. So let's get a little bit on the threads here and the underside of the head. We're going to lube them down there. Throw that guy in there. Okay, next. Make sure your threads, your female threads are clean, and these bolts are clean as well. I know these are clean just because they just came out of the parts washer, so, and I can see that they're clean. So there's that. There's 2. Get it all over the fingers. You got to make sure you get it all over your fingers there first. Otherwise, you won't do a good job of tightening it. And then the torque won't be accurate if it's not all over your fingers. So, another hot tip for you guys. Just put it all over your fingers. Then you'll have successful torque angles and whatnot. Anyways, let's grab the torque wrench. What do we got here? Which ones are these? 10. A little bit of 10 mils. 10 mil. Extension. A little bitty extension. And these are torqued to 25 foot-pounds. And that's it. That's why I like ARP, because they don't need 90-degree angles and 75-degree whatevers and whatnots. So we're gonna go to 25. There's 15, 20, 25. We'll do a crisscrossing pattern. Boop. 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 Oh, come on. See, I didn't have that lube on my fingers for that one, so it wasn't in as quite as good as the other one. So, boop. Okay. Those are torqued. Let me just make sure none of it changed. Good to go. Good to go. Okay. We are torqued. Okay. Cam retainer plates on. And the reason why my dogs went crazy a few minutes ago upstairs was I did have a package. Just not the one, or not everything we needed. So I got the new connecting rod. It's a Reman connecting rod, but yeah, a connecting rod nonetheless. So, dogs were letting me know, hey, you got parts, man. Your parts are here. You gotta come get your parts. Because you got parts. Anyways, I'm going to throw this on the piston that doesn't have a connecting rod. So, let's do that. We're going to do that. We're doing. So, first things first. This is kind of stiff in there. So, I'm going to hit her with a little heat. Free her up a bit. I want to set the shop on fire here. We just need a little bit of heat. A couple seconds right here. Right here. Couple seconds. Few more seconds. Couple more. That's good. There you go. That's enough seconds. Now. Nope. Okay. Couple more seconds here. Few more. A little more. A little bit more. Few more. That's good there. That's good. This is the one here. Let's do it. No. Okay. Well, what's going on here? What is going on? Come on out of there. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? And who told you to do it? Alright, well, we gotta do a little bit more brute force here. We don't want to be too brute force, so we just got the little mallets. Let's see if she's free yet. Nope, not free yet. So we'll get this guy going. Oh yeah, she's moving. She can move. Okay, let's get her all the way out. I just want to see something real quick. Careful. There's plenty more. Maybe that's why, because this was soaking up all the heat. So, I think we cool this down. Cool it down with some brake fluid here. Brake cleaner. Brake fluid, come on. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Get it together. Okay. She's nice and cool now. Cooler than she was. Still, she's room temperature. Let's say that. So let's see if it goes in now. Oh yeah, see, my theory was not as correct as I thought it was going to be. So she's still not warm, but this ain't either. So, well, anyways, can we just get? Let's just get this in there, and we'll go from there. Okay, so get a little bit of lube in there, a little bit of lube. Yep, that way. Okay, get a little bit more heat on it. Lube. This one don't even want to go in that side. Hey. Great. Come on. Oh, not too bad. I can still move it. Okay, anyway. Now, can we get it on there, please? It's a brake cleaner all over the floor here. What am I doing here? I'm having fun, that's what I'm doing. Having fun. I promise. There we go. Smooth. There. Keep going. Just a little bit more. I'm just going to use the old persuader here. The old persuader. That'll probably do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, clippies. Clippies in there. Boop. Make sure we're in all the way. Yep, it's in. All the way, give you some extra space. Clippy. Oh, clip. Okay. There we go. Piston. Now, since this is a remanufactured connecting rod, I'm going to measure this journal just for the fun of it. Make sure I don't have to use an oversized bearing on that, because that would be weird. Anyways, hold on, be right back. Get my T gauges. I don't have a 2 to 3 inch micrometer, so this will have to do. It does measure in thousandths, so we should be okay. These T gauges, if you've never used these before, hold on, make sure I'm actually showing you something. These compress, and there's a screw on the bottom that holds them in place. So if you tighten a little bit, compress them, oop, then they'll stay where you want them to be. See, boop, they come out. So what I do, I'm measuring these, we put them all the way in, basically, tighten that up, and I'm going to give you a closer view of this, but hold on. So what we do, put it in at an angle, loosen it up, make sure both sides are touching, because at an angle this is actually bigger than the actual diameter of that. And then what you do is you rock it after you tighten it, rock it back and forth, and that'll be your diameter. So now, make sure this is zeroed, I would check that, and basically do the same thing on here. Let's see if you can see this. So at an angle, rock it. That is 2.270, and I believe these, let me measure one of these real quick. These are stock and not honed or anything like that. So let's do these real quick. So 2.270 is this one. Let's do this guy real quick. Hold on. That felt way too easy. Let's go. Okay. Whoa, I'm an idiot. I didn't even tighten that. I was wondering why it was way bigger. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. That's funny. I was like, what is happening here? There's no way it's that much bigger. I'm not going to torque these. Just because I don't really need to. I'm just going to tighten it. Make sure it's nice and tight. Pretty tight. Okay. Now, let's try to open. Oh, get back in there. Just that boing. Okay. Now, rock it back. Back. Too uneven. Too much unevenness. Try and center it. Okay. Rocking. Now, what was that? 2.270. Let's get a load of this one. 2.280. 2.280. Twice in a row. Okay, so it is 1/1000 bigger. Wait. Smaller. Yeah, 1/1000 smaller than that. I'm not sure if these are torqued or not. These came tightened like that. Could be. Anyways, that's good enough for government work. This is not government work by any means, but I like it, and we don't need oversized bearings or undersized bearings or for that, unless, well, the crankshaft comes with matched bearings because it is a remanufactured crankshaft, so should be good though. Should be fine. We should be all right, and we don't need to worry about nothing because there's nothing to worry about. Anyway, let us continue. Alright guys, here's the deal. Probably don't need to, but I'm going to lap these valves just a little bit just to make sure they're sealing right. So let's get all these in there. Alright, so a little bit of assembly lube there. Right there in the valve guide there. Throw this guy in there. Spin him around. Actually, throw a little bit more in there. There we go. Gotta juice them up, you know. Give them the old loose juice so that they slide in there without any issues. Beautiful. Those are nice and lubed. Now, what I can do, them like that. I'm gonna flip this over a little bit. Oh, there we go. That'll be fun. Boop. Okay. Now, what I like to do, instead of doing it by hand, I use the old drill. Just very lightly, very slowly, and it works like a charm. So, seen people do it before, seen people not do it before. I've done it before. And I've done it the other way too, where you do a little suction cup thing and, you know, do it like that. But that takes a while. I don't want to be sitting here for hours lapping valves by hand. So we're going to use power tools. And if you don't like it, then just look away. Just look away. See, I have the proper tools. I just don't use them no more. Anyways, get some valve grinding compound on there, and we'll get to valve grinding. I'll do one in real time just to show you that I'm not just spinning the crap out of this thing. Get her out of there. Oop, that was quite a bit. That's good enough. Just a little bit. They look fine. I'm just gonna put a little surface on them and call it a day. So gently grab the valve stem. Oops, that's the wrong way. See, just very slow. Switching directions every once in a while. And that's it. Oop. Nope, don't do that. I'm off of there. Okay, now we'll take a look at it. I have a feeling she's gonna look pretty good because I have done this before a few times. Oh yeah, she looks nice. I don't know. Let's see. Very even. I like it. So, seat looks good too. Is that a cat? I don't know if you heard that. Sounds like there's a cat outside my garage. No, kitty. This is my chicken pot pie. Yeah, buddy. Okay. Enough with the banging and clanging. Alright, I'm going to get the rest of these done. I'll just do a little quick time lapse for that. Just because it's not the funnest thing in the world to watch. Okay, here we go. Number 2. Alright, it is time for the valve springs. So, these are Pac Racing 1218-16. These are, I believe, 600 lift valve springs. Yep. Anyways, let's throw these in there. These are brand new. Since we are upgrading the cam, You do need to upgrade your springs as well. We're going to use this little fancy tool that I got. This thing is awesome. But I need to clamp the head down real quick. We got to throw some valve stem seals in there. Come on. Lube the tips a little bit. Oh yeah, stickers. Oh, driver side and passenger side stickers. That is rad. I like that. Like that a lot. I hope they all didn't come with that, because I've thrown a few of those away. Whoops, holy jeez. All in place there. There we go. There we go. Not so bad. Not so bad at all. Sure, nothing else cool in this box here, and we'll just toss it to the side there. Alright, heads are done for now. Now I can't do anything else but press those trunnion bearings in there. So heads are done. We can press the trunnions, and then that's all we can do until the camshaft gets here. I could soak the lifters overnight though, which I'm going to do. But yeah. Yep. Alright. We're back. And I got some lifters here. These I get from Overstock Direct, and they are genuine GM LS7 lifters. So I use these in pretty much everything. They come with lifter trays as well. GM genuine parts. Look at that. Old General Motors. New lifter trays. All right. Big old foam block of lifters. They come with hold on. They come with a little note telling you how they get their lifters and giant boxes, and to make sure how you know that they're LS7 lifters is you look for the gold retaining clips and, you know, all that fun stuff. You can actually order a big giant case of them like that as well, which I might end up doing one day when I get a shop, and I do these all the time. So anyways, let me get some gloves, because these are soaking in some sort of pre-lube. Let me grab a quart of oil too real quick. We're going to soak these lifters. Shoot. So we can throw them in there. Ouch. After we soak the lifters, we're going to press in some rocker arm trunnions. Come out. Oh. Jeez. Box was glued together by Superman. What the F? Okay. Anyways. Almost lost my cool there for a second. Okay. So we got some Valvoline VR1 racing oil 10W30, and that's what I use in all my new builds, just because it has a higher ZDDP content or zinc content, and it helps the new piston ring seal, and helps the bearings break in, and the camshaft, and you know. So, whatever kind of lube they use on this thing, it smells kind of good. So, anyways, these are them's LS7 lifters. They have the hole where the oil goes in. It's on the side of these instead of on the front or the back, and I like that a lot more because when they're on the front, see these, hold on, make sure you can see these. When they're on the front like this, if they were put in like that, then they have a higher chance of bleeding down while your engine's sitting because the hole's on the bottom. They might bleed down a little bit, so they put the hole on the side to help mitigate that. So that's why I like LS7 lifters. Let's get these in the bucket here. Oops. Actually, this is how I do it. Set that on the side there. We'll just go ahead and stack these in there. One by one till we're full up. There we go. That's all 16 of them. Okay, now we just got to submerge these in oil and let them soak. Let them soak until the bubbles stop. I think if you had a vacuum chamber, it'd probably make this process a lot quicker. But you're going to hear things on the internet, on the old interwebs there, saying that you don't have to soak these, and that they're just going to bleed off by the time you're ready to start your engine up anyway. So I don't like that idea. They're probably going to bleed off. That's probably not a lie, but at least having that oil in there and all over them will prevent a dry start. So I'd rather have some oil in there, because we're going to have to turn the engine over a couple times anyways while we're doing the rocker arms. So they'll probably bleed off a little bit while we're doing that. But just knowing that there was oil, and there might still be oil in there when I fire it up, is a good thought. And plus, we got to prime the oiling system anyway, so they're going to get full up anyway. So anyways, smells like oil. So let's go ahead and fill them up here. Yummy. You can see the bubbles. We'll try and get it over top of all of them. I have to shuffle them a bit. Didn't even use half quart. I don't know why that matters, but alright. Anyways, let's get these rocker arms pressed, and I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. Let those soak. Look at all the bubbles, the bubblies. Okay, let me grab my arbor press, and yeah. Okay, we're set up here. This is the rocker arm trunnion. Jeez. Okay, that scared the crap out of me. Didn't last time, but this time about pooped my pants. Okay, anyways, this is the rocker arm trunnion upgrade from Michigan Motorsports. Comes with bearings, clips, washers, that's for pressing, with the trunnions, and new rocker arm bolts. So, get rid of this here. Yep, right where you belong. Okay, so I had one sitting around here. Oh, there it is. Always. This bag always rips when you open it. It's okay, it's fine. Okay, there's the new trunnions. Alright. The old ones, I have one. I was able to save one when I was pressing those out of there. The old ones look like this. So, see how it's limited? Can only move a certain amount. And this cap, full of needles. Hold on. Oh, okay, so this is a bearing, right? And it goes on the end of the trunnion. But this cap's pressed in to the rocker arm. Right in there. There's nothing holding it in there but friction, you know. So what happens is when you upgrade your cam and you start getting a higher RPM going, or even more lift, this starts to move a little bit more than it's used to, and that'll start to work its way out of that rocker arm. It'll work its way out until it comes out completely, and then when that happens, you get all these little needles falling all in your valve train, eventually ending up in your oil pan, your oil pump, and that ain't good. So somebody was a genius and came up with the upgrade. How the upgrade works is this is now not limited. There is no limit to how far this thing can spin. 360 degrees rotation. Let me grab a bearing here. And also, come on, the needles are captive in these bearings. So, you can see the needles in there, but there's an edge on both sides so that they don't fall out. Also, an extra added measure, there is a snap ring that clamps on there and holds the whole bearing in place, stops it from ever coming out. So this thing can rotate 360 degrees, and there's a C-clamp. So good upgrade to have, and whenever you're doing a cam upgrade, I highly recommend doing the trunnion upgrade kit. There's plenty of different options when it comes to the trunnion upgrade kit. I just use this one because it's a good price, and I've used them a ton of times. And yeah, so let's get depressing. Get depressing? No, let's not do that. Let's get happy. We should all be happy, not depressed. Anyways, so what you do, I hope you guys can see this. You take a bearing, right? Throw it in there. You just throw it in the rocker arm there. Throw a trunnion in the bearing, press out that plastic piece, then put another bearing on top, just like so. Get rid of that plastic. And then what you want to do, give her a little squeeze with your arbor press. A little squeeze to just kind of set the bearings in place. Oh, come on, make sure you line it up. Okay, bottom one's going in. Top one's a little sideways, so. Okay. It's kind of in there now. So, these come with the washers, which go on the bottom, which space it out perfectly. Put one on the bottom, one on the top once you get far enough in there. and it'll give you the spacing you need to fit your clamps on there, or snap rings. Let me just push this in a little bit more if I can. Jeez, she's tight in there. I'm trying to stay out of your way here, but there we go. Here we go. Okay, now see the gap there? Throw this on there, and then we switch over to the flat spot, and then, oops, put this one on top. And press it down all the way. Just like that. Make sure it rotates freely. And you should be good to put your C-clamp on. Okay, now as you can see, 360 degree movement, no restrictions. And then I have to grab my snap ring pliers, but come on, if I can get this bag open. Couple of rings. Oh, they changed the style of the snap rings. Wow, those are way beefier than they used to be. Let me show you the old style. Hold on. Where are the old ones? Oh, I might have. Oh, didn't throw them away. So I love that. Those are huge. These are the old ones. I always give you extra. I believe somebody at the factory just grabs a handful and throws them in a bag for you. So these are the new snap rings that they apparently have chosen to upgrade to. And these are the old ones. These look like little babies compared to these. Look at that difference. Boom. Way better. Okay. I'm excited now. Excited. Ooh, yeah. Much stiffer. Hey, come on. Get on there. Get on there. Yeah. There we go. Now you just clamp it in place there. And that one's good to go. Okay. Let's get this one on there. Boop. 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 Perfect. And there we go. New trunnion upgrade. Let me do all the other 75,000 of these real quick. Like it'll be like magic. It'll take me only 6 hours. So get comfy. Okay, here we go. Oh, missed. Okay, anyways, rocker on. Boom, bearing. Oh, that was already open. Trunion. Boom, plastic. Get out of here. Camera died again, but we got all these finished, and those are just sitting on there. They're not tight or nothing. Got the lifters been soaking, so we can throw those in there now, which is what I'm going to do next. But we got a package. I wonder what it could be. Oh, the new crankshaft. So. Oh, so shiny. So shiny. That's going to be nice. Came with some bearings as well. I want to measure these bearings because if they're just standard bearings, then I can use those king bearings instead of these Engine Tech bearings. But we'll do that. Anyways, let's get those lifters in there real quick and then we'll deal with the crank stuff. So let's do it. Alright, get some of these lifters out of this oil here. We got to put them in these trays. So crack open a fresh, crispy lifter tray. Nice. Nice. Let's get a little paper towel here going. That way I don't completely cover everything with oil. Oh, sheet nut. Let's do all these. There we go. Now, putting these in is pretty simple. I'll show you on one of the old ones. There is 2 flat spots on these to keep these from spinning in the trays. You just line them up with that, push them in, bada bing, bada boom, and you're done. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll throw them in the engine. So lifter bay, LS bay. Alright, so now that those are covered in oil, so we'll just slide them in place. Come on. I know you wanna. Maybe they don't wanna. Okay, I'm gonna lube the holes anyways. Get a little lubage going there. I don't believe these, well, I think these do have a torque spec, and I think it's like 15 foot-pounds or something like that, but snug is the torque spec. Snug. Those are just a 10 mil, or maybe they're inch pounds. I think they're 180 inch pounds or something like that. Okay. Man, this thing leaks like a sieve. I'm gonna let it sit. Sticky. Okay, anyways. Let's get those torqued a little bit. Holy cow. There we go. Hold on. There's my phone. 106 inch pounds. So 106 for those. There we go. 106. Now, flip her upside down. Okay. Now, I gotta do some bearing measurements. So, stay tuned. All right, so got the main bearings in, and we're going to measure them, make sure they're the right size. So this crank is a remanufactured crank, so it calls for oversized bearings or undersized, or however that works. I don't know. They came with oversized bearings, 0.010 oversized. So what we got to do is torque the main caps on there with the bearings in place, and then I'll measure them with my T gauges and write all that down, and then we'll measure the journals on the crank and subtract and do the mathematicals and come up with the bearing clearance. So hopefully it's within spec. It should be. You can't even see my head. Hopefully it's within spec. Should be. I feel like it's going to be. So, let's do that real quick. Real quick. So there's another reason why you should replace your main cap bolts, because you have to torque them a couple of times, or at least once, before final assembly. So these are not torque to yield bolts, they are reusable. They are torque to angle, but it doesn't mean you can torque them and untorque them an infinite amount of times. These are only good for like 3 or 4 torques. So we'll do this once, and that'll be that. And we'll make a measurement, and that'll let us know what size bearings we need. So we'll just kind of let me spin those in real quick. I believe these are 13 and 15s. So let's get a 15 going. Yep, 15. Ugh, that one's dirty. I'm gonna clean that real quick. Nasty. I don't want all that nastiness getting in my engine. Clean your tools, guys. Clean your tools. Especially when you're building an engine. Make sure everything's clean and tidy. That'll do. Okay. Make sure this one's clean too. Let's run these down with some power tools, just to speed up the process a little bit. Just a little bit. Those are seated. Where did I just put that 13 at? Oh, there it is. Caught the magnet. Okay, now, hold on. I gotta look up torque specs for aluminum blocks. Hold on. 1 second. Okay, I just went and printed out some torque specs for a Gen 4 aluminum block. So, because it's different for the iron blocks, but you find these at Summit Racing. And there is a note on the last page that says if you're using ARP bolts, then just follow the instructions on your ARP hardware. So, because it'll be different. They're not torque to yield. So, anyways. Main caps. Inner bolts are 15 foot-pounds first. Outer studs 15 foot-pounds. And then the final angle is 80 degrees for the inner bolts and 51 degrees for the outer studs. So, grab a torque. The old torque wrench. The old torque wrench there. Let's get to torquing. Let's see, we got 13s. We got what, 15 foot-pounds, that's it. They're probably already there. $15 foot-pounds, done. Now inner bolts, 80 degrees. So this is my least favorite part. So I'm gonna use my breaker bar, because I have a torque angle meter. So we'll 13 first. Boot. Boot. We'll set this to 0 wherever we put it. By the way, we'll start right in the middle here. Okay, and then we'll go 80. 60, 70, 80. Okay, same thing. $51. Okay, so those are torqued. Now, what we can do, give me this T gauge. Alright, so normally you would use a 2 to 3 inch micrometer just to set the journal size on the crank, and then you would zero a dial bore gauge to that micrometer and then go in here and then just measure the difference. But I don't have a micrometer or, surprisingly enough, a dial bore gauge, so this is how I do it with the T gauge. It's not the most accurate, especially with a caliper and not a micrometer, but it'll work. It'll get me in the range, and then when I throw the crank in there and bolt everything down, if it's too stiff, then I know I messed up somewhere. So we're gonna do it like this, and we'll see what happens. Again, you want to rock it back and forth once, and then we'll measure. 2.520 on number 1. So 2.520. I'll do the next. This guy. 2.520. Nice. So same as the first one. That's cool. I like that. Okay, now thrust bearing. I don't even know if you guys can see this thing. It's kind of dark, but trust me, I got it written down. 2.520. Okay. Get it right. Do it 3 or 4 times just to make sure. 2.520. So, same. That's great. I like that. 2.520. Okay. Number 4. 2.520. Number 5. Let's get it. Would you look at that? You guessed it. 2.520. Whoa, that's not what it says now. How did that happen? Yep, 2.520. Okay, now we're gonna zero the caliper out. We'll start at the end here, so we'll go here. Make sure it's straight on there. Huh. 2.5295. Well then. So we have negative bearing clearance. Okay, 2.5495. That is bigger than 2.54. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, something's going on with my calipiece. Oh, now it says 2.52. This is why you don't use calipers, because they're not the best. Just measure the middle. 2.55. What is happening here? .55. What? That doesn't make any sense, and it's starting to irritate. Come on. I need a micrometer. 2.55. 2.54, 2.55, 2.55, 2.5295. So why is that one? I'm getting a little frustrated. 2.54, 2.53. What is going on here? 2.53. Okay, hold on. Need to do some think-a-lating. Okay, figured it out. I'm just a big old stoops. So I was omitting a 5 in between the 5 and the 2. So the measurements for the bearings in the block are 2.5520. Not 2.520, 2.5520. So these crank journals are 2.5505. So there you go. My mistake. 2.5505. This is the number 1 crank journal in the block. This is, hold on, 2.5510. Wait. I'm struggling here, you guys. Struggling. Just get you some proper tools. Okay, anyways, let me figure this out. We'll come back. Plus, my camera's gonna die, so. That will do it for that, and can still rotate by hand. So those bearings are good. Clearance feels good. Feels like about 2/1000ths just by the old hand feel here. You know what? I forgot the little ones that go on the sides. So we're gonna do those real quick. I believe those side bolts are 18 foot-pounds. So I'll just run those in real quick. I could probably blow on this and it'll rotate. I mean, maybe not. Not literally, but figuratively. I want to clean up a little bit. Okay. I'm done for the day. We got the crankshaft in. And I just want to go sit down. My dogs are barking. Not my real dogs, as you heard earlier, but my feet dogs are barking. So anyways, we'll see you in the morning, bright and early. Okay, we're back. It is the morning time. It's not super early like I thought I was gonna be, but you know, I'm starting to get a little tickle in the throat here, so I slept in to just kind of see what would happen with it. It's still there. So, probably not going to do a whole lot more talking, but we are going to do a whole lot more assembling. So, I got to get this engine put together and back in that thing. So, and this video is getting kind of long. So, we're just going to power through it. I'll explain things as I go, but we're probably just going to do a few more time lapses and whatnot. I got to get all these bearings in the connecting rods and measured. I got to get the piston rings back on or not back on, but the new piston rings on there. And then we can get the pistons in there. And then we can get the heads on. Actually, after we get the pistons in, we can put the oil pan on. And then the front cover, and then we can do the timing set. I still have to get the new gear off of this crank, or the old gear off of the old crankshaft. Anyways, let's get to it. I'm gonna do some rod bearings, and we'll do some measurements. It's the same process basically. So, you know, measure with the bearings in here, torque these down, measure this diameter. And then you measure your rod journals on the crankshaft, the outer diameter of those, and then you compare, do the mathematicals, and then that's your oil clearance. So I think you want about 1.8 thousandths or 2 thousandths on those. I think it's 1.8. 1.8 is like the biggest you want. But yeah, did you know that's thinner than a piece of paper? This piece of paper here is 2.8 thousandths of an inch. And the oil clearance for these bearings is thinner than a piece of paper. And that's all that's stopping that metal from touching this metal. That's crazy. I did actual visual the other day, or yesterday, and I'll post a short about it, but it's crazy how small that is. Anyways, let's get to it. Same process. I'm not gonna explain a whole bunch about it because I tried to do it here and it didn't really work explaining wise. So enjoy the music, and yeah, let's do it. Okay, I think you guys get the point. So, we're going to move on to doing piston rings after I finish this. But you guys will move on to do piston rings. I'm going to keep doing this. Anyways, let's do some piston rings. So these are Hastings rings. I got these from Michigan Motorsports. These ones have the plasma moly top ring. So let's throw them on there. Show you how to do it real quick, and then I'll bust them out. These are loud. Sorry about that. These loud ass bags here. Let's get these all out of here. These are top rings. Should put these right here. Then second rings. What I like to do is grab a piston first. First you gotta grab the piston. I'm gonna throw the oil ring in first, just because it's on the bottom. We will clock these after all the rings are on there and right before we install them. Oops, that's upside down. So follow the directions that comes with. It tells you which way this should be facing. Okay, oil rings in. Let's do a second ring. These ones say top on them. I don't know if you could see that, but there it says top, so this is the top of the ring. It's not the top ring. Okay, some people get that confused. Because it says top, they think that it's the top ring. No, it's not. The top rings will come in the bag that says top ring. So that's how you know if it's a top ring or not. but this is just the top of the ring. So don't get confused. The second rings will come in the bag that says second ring. Okay, that one's on there. I don't know if you guys just saw that, but I have my own, well, it's not my own way of putting piston rings on, but I don't require any tools or anything. And it's super easy. You don't need a piston ring spreader to put piston rings on a piston. So, hold on. Let me see, because I'm not seeing marking on this one, on the top ring, because usually they're marked for orientation, but I don't see a marking, nor do I feel an edge, because sometimes they have like a little hooked edge to scrape the oil off of the cylinder, but I'm not seeing that on this one, so that's not English. There we go. A ring with no dot, top, or laser mark will signify a ring can be installed either way. Top does not indicate the piston ring groove location. What? Top does not indicate the piston ring groove location. I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't. Okay. Anyways, there's a bunch of directions on there, but none of them really make sense. Okay, so sitting here editing this video, and I just understood what that meant. And I realized that I had just said it right before this part. So, yeah, what that meant was that the writing on the piston ring top does not indicate where the ring goes on the piston, like I had just mentioned. I didn't understand that before, but as I'm sitting here editing, I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. What an idiot. So, anyways, back to it. Anyway, so this one doesn't have a mark, so this can be installed either way. Does not have a hook, doesn't have an edge, doesn't have a mark, so I'm gonna put it whichever way I please, because that is the way. Okay, there's one. What I usually do, the ring gap doesn't really, or the ring groove location doesn't really matter a whole lot. As long as they're not stacked or on top of each other, then it should be fine. But what I usually do is I just put the top one facing the front of the engine and the second ring facing the rear of the engine. That way they're just opposite. And then these ring gaps, the spacers for the oil ring, I usually put them one there and one there. So just about 45 degrees off center from each other. The reason being is because these aren't going to stay in place when you start the engine up. They rotate a little bit and do all that. So if they're able to rotate in there without messing anything up, so why do I have to make sure that they're in a specific location? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Anyways, you don't have to do it like that. You can look up how specifically to do it and whatnot, and that's just fine too. But yeah, that's just how I do it. Anyways, you know what I forgot to do is check the ring gap in the cylinders. So I think we're going to rewind here a little bit, and I'm going to do that. Measured all the ring gaps. Let's get to it. I'm going to throw these rings on here, and we're going to throw them in the block. Oop. So, second ring. Hey, we're going to have issues with that. I can tell. Top. Easiest way to put piston rings on. Just stick one end into the groove, lift up, spin her around. Make sure this one don't score the surface there. That's it. Boom. Top ring now. This one doesn't have a top designation, so it doesn't matter which way it goes. Well, what the heck. Get in there. Trash can's getting full. Anyways, pistons are in. Just gotta torque them down. But I gotta go make dinner. Be right back. Okay, guys. We gotta torque these down. And like the main cap bolts, these are torque to yield or torque to angle or whichever. These are 15 foot-pounds for the first pass, and then 85 degrees. Okay, this part is the part that I don't like. I just don't like torque to yield bolts. But it costs money, more money, to switch. These are brand new bolts, but it costs more money to switch to ARP, and I don't really need to. So we're gonna do it like this. What am I doing? Let me get the old 11 mil out. There we go. Torque wrench. And we'll get to torquing. We got 15 foot-pounds. There's 5, 10, 15. Should do these two first. Boom. And then we rotate to whichever ones come next. There we go. This is my wife's favorite tool, the torque wrench, because it tells her when to stop tightening. Makes sense. Okay, got those two. Now we're doing this one here. Go. All of them. It feels good. No tight spots. Nothing. I like it. Okay. Alright. Now we can get the windage tray on after I clean it. And get the oil pan on. No, I'm going to put the covers on and the timing set. We could do the timing set right now though. So let's do that. Yay! Okay. So, we got the pistons in. I was going to do the timing set, but then I realized I haven't taken the gear off of the old crank yet. So, I guess we might have to do that real quick. So, let me... I guess I can put these gloves on. Okay. Okay. So, let me move you closer here. Oh. Put you into the light. You'll be alright. No. Caught it this time. I don't think that I have the actual right tool to do this, but we're going to try this one and see what happens. I think it'll work. It might work. Yep. We're getting it. I don't think these hooks are long enough though. They are not. Okay, so that's not going to work. Okay. Okay, let me get that. puller. Find it. I can find it. There it is. Here it is. Bearing separator. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. Again, just like always. Just like it always does. Alright. This one's a little too small, so that might work. Let's try that. Okay, so I think that's a 19 maybe. 17. Just like I said, 17. Oh yeah, she's coming free. Let's heat her up a little bit more. Okay. Yep, she's coming right off. Cool. Hey, there she goes. And there she is. Free as a bird. She looks like she's in good shape still, so we'll be able to reuse her. I like it. See if she fits on this one. Perfect. Just need to hit it with a little heat and a hammer. Ugh. Jeez. Weighs a zillion pounds. A little bit of heat. Put a little bit of heat in her. Oh, I guess you guys need to see what I'm doing. Maybe might help. So I can get you over there without dropping you again. There's the light again. There we go. Got my little rolly chair. I have a big enough socket. I do not. My seal driver. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we'll be able to do that. Cool. Grab you a billet aluminum front seal driver and get my mallet. Throw you right there. Let's heat this bad boy up. On the inside. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Line it up. Oh yeah, she almost went all the way on there. So, pop this thing on there. A little bit more. I think that did it. Maybe a little more. A couple more. Yep, she's on it. That worked exceptionally. Now we can do the timing set. So let's do that. Okay. So let's get this timing set on here. Should be pretty simple with this, even with this tensioner in there. This is the timing set from Michigan Motorsports. Comes with the little tensioner thing, but we're not going to use that today. We're going to use that and the chain. So, new chain. This also came with ARP bolts as well. So, go. Brand new chain. We'll save that for something else. ARP Bizolts. And we're converting from a single bolt to a 3-bolt. So I don't know if you remember. Come off there. The original design was a single cam bolt with the front cam position sensor. This one will be transferred to a 3-bolt design because our cam is 3-bolt. So switching that over, yeah, should work just fine. Lots of people do it. That's what this kit was made for. So that's how we're going to do that. So many bags to open when you're building an engine with new parts. Excuse me. Excuse me. Where's the dot? There's the dot. So we need to turn this back a little bit. Where's that bolt? This crankshaft bolt. Just so we can turn the crank. Until where'd the dot go? Did we pass it? Passed it. So you can't see it from here, but there's a little dimple in this tooth on the the crankshaft gear. Basically, you just line it up with this little dimple here, and then that's your timing. That is your timing there. So hold on, let me pull this and set it up first. She's being a horse's ass. That's alright. I don't have a pin for... Okay, hold on. 1 second. I need a pin for this timing, or this tensioner. Now I guess we'll put it back in. Struggling here, you guys. It's been an off day today, but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Alright. Grab a 10 mil. Or drop a 10 mil. It's okay. Like I said, it's okay. I'll torque those later. Okay, now, where was I? Now, what you do, make sure this goes on. Make sure they're lined up. Make sure your camshaft is in the right position. And boom. There you have it. I don't like playing that. Hold on. Oh, that's why. Okay. That's why. We don't have a rear cover on there, so the cam was pushed back a little bit. Now she's solid. Now she's solid. Okay, where'd them bolts go? Where'd the ARPs go? Oh, found the ARPs. I bet these are gonna be 25 foot-pounds with a little bit of ARP lube. Yep, 25 foot-pounds with the lubage. I'm gonna take my gloves off now. I'm no longer holding heat. Hold on, bear with me, you guys. I'm just gathering what I need. Nope, I'm not gonna use that one. Let's get this adapter on. Yep. Okay. Yep. 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 Okay. Okay, more ARP goop. Make sure to get it all over your fingers first, okay? Otherwise, it ain't gonna work right. So put it on the underside of the bolt head. And down the threads. Spread it a little bit. And just pop her in there. Tighten her by fingers. Do the other one. I wonder when I'm going to run out of this stuff. Built like 4 engines with the same tube of lube. The bolts that I just bought too probably come with another one, so we'll just replenish. Okay, 25 foot-pounds. Whoops. There we go. I think we're already at 15. There's a 20 and a 25. I need this wrench. Hold. There's 25. 25. And then recheck. Yep. Okay. Timing set is on. Now I can pull this pin. Yeah. Nice. Nice and tight. Nice and tight, you guys. Alright. Let's rotate her around. A couple of turns. One is a half. There we go, 2 turns. She's at top dead center. Okay, timing set on. Now, before I get this front cover on, actually no, I gotta clean it because it's still greasy. We got some cleaning up to do. Might be able to get the heads on, but that'll be for another day. I'm tired. I want to go sit down. Well, I'm sitting down, but I want to kind of go edit some more of this video because this is getting kind of long, and yeah, anyways, we'll see you bright and early in the morning so we can finish this thing up tomorrow. I believe that this will be done tomorrow, and then we can start throwing it back into the engine bay. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, we will see you tomorrow. Alright, got the covers all cleaned off. Just hit them with a little super clean degreaser and pressure washer, and it works great. So also, to dry them quicker, I blasted them with the torch a little bit to heat them up so that the water would all evaporate, but that's besides the point. We got to get these old seals out of here and put in the new ones. Also got to put the oil pump on, almost forgot, but we can get the rear cover on before we do that if I want, which I don't really care, but anyways, yeah, so let's do that. Okay, let's get this oil pump on here. That looks about right. Yep. Found them. Okay. Hold on. I filled it with a little bit of oil. Get my grooves to line up. So I can see it happening. There we go. Bolts in here. Now, you're going to find people telling you a couple different ways to do this. And I've done it a few different ways. One of them is where you take this front cover off after this is installed, and you put what, 25 thousandths or 2 thousandths shims all the way around the big rotor or whatever it's called inside there to center it on the crankshaft. But you don't have to do that. You can if you want, and it works just fine. But some say you'll avoid your warranty on the oil pump, which I don't think you will. But this is how I do it, and this is just the simplest way. Get these hand tight, literally just barely hand tight, and then this, you're gonna love this. Then what you do, you turn the old engine over a couple times. And it'll center itself. And that's it. That's literally all you gotta do. It'll find its own center. Check the torque specs here. Oil pump bolts, 18 seconds. Okay. Going 18 on these. Yeah, it'll find where it wants to be. Oh, I didn't. You kind of set the torques back on your torque wrench before you start torquing. So 10, 15, 18. Duh. Let me start with this one now. Oops. There we go. And there you go. That's all you got to do. Now, what I like to do also, just dump a little oil down inside the oil pump. Just a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. And turn it over a few times. Get all that internals lubed up in there. And it'll start sending oil down the way there a little bit, just a little bit. Anyways, that's that. Now we can do the front cover. Throw the front cover on there and be done with it. Oh no, I gotta replace the seal on the front cover real quick, so let's do that. Okay. Get this seal out of here. See if I can heat it up a little bit. Okay. It's nice and warm. It should pop right out. Yep. Boom. A little bit of heat and a screwdriver. And that's all you need. So, let's clean it up. The old crevasse here. Okay. Where's all my gaskets at? Hold on a second. Oh, I don't have those in my pocket. Okay. Cool. Front main. My rear main. Oh yeah, it's got the good intake. Oh, this is good stuff. Cool. I like these. It's got all the black gaskets instead of the blue ones, which is what I like. Oh, that's rear man. I don't need that. front move. This looks kind of a bit wobbly. That's okay. Alright. Let's just compare. Oh yeah, this one was definitely leaking too. That's why this front cover was all covered in stuff. 5472 8.4. Don't know what that means. This one says USA National, probably original. This one's probably made in China, but that's okay. Not everything from China is complete garbage. Alright, let's get this bad boy in here. I have a seal driver. Let's get some lube on this a little bit. Throw some WD-40 in there. Lube the outer edge. Just get to pounding. Shake the whole workbench. Check the back, make sure it's seated all the way, which it is. So we're good. Take a little bit of oil. Oh, this doesn't actually seat on the crankshaft there, but it's okay. Anyways, good to have that lubed. Oh, I need a gasket. Front and rear cover. There's the front. Garbage. Alright guys, let's get this harmonic balancer on there real quick. Okay, so first things first, you wanna sit down first. I like to thread this guy in first here. Just thread it in all the way till it stops. Then we hit this guy with a little heat. Just put a little heat on it. Don't burn your fingers, because heat is hot. There we go. That should do. Now, slide this bad boy on there. It'll go on a little bit. Then, take your washer and your bearing assembly and your nut. Slide that on right after. And start spinning. I think that's it. Yep, she won't go no more. Okay, and then that's it. You just loosen your nut. And she's on. Simple as that. This tool is amazing. I've tried doing it with the crank bolt, and it's just a pain in the butt. This bearing allows this nut to rotate with little to zero interference or friction or anything like that, so it makes it way easy. Anyways, that's the crank bolt on, or crank pulley on. Alright guys, now that the harmonic balancer is on, we can rotate this engine over. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Where's the new bolt? I guess I gotta put this bolt on, torque it. So the torque specs for these bolts are 111 foot-pounds, and then you back it off 360 degrees, and then you torque it to 55 foot-pounds. Sounds kind of weird, but we're gonna try it. So we got the crank locked. My torque wrench, oh yeah, it does do 111. So I don't know if my torque wrench will do 111 foot-pounds, but it does. Okay, so I'm just gonna go for it. Let's see what happens, guys. That's 111. Now we gotta back it off 360. Okay, so back this off 360. Not sure why it says 360 because it's already loose. And then we tighten it to 59 foot-pounds. So let's do that. Once again, 59 foot-pounds. That's it, really. Torquing 59 foot-pounds. Got her. She's torqued. Okay. Now we can rotate the engine and center this cover here, torque those down, and then we can throw the oil pan on. So let's do that. Front cover torqued. All right, let's get this oil pan on here. Okay, first thing you got to do, since these front and rear covers make up part of the surface that your oil pan mounts to, common leak points are where they butt up against the block. So it is highly recommended that you just put some gray RTV silicone gasket maker right on those seams there. Don't be afraid to put a whole bunch. I mean, you don't need a whole lot, but if you put a lot, then it's not going to matter too much. But yeah, just like that. And all four corners where the front cover and the rear cover meet the engine block before you put your gasket on. That'll just ensure you don't have any weird oil leaks. And yeah, now you can put your gasket on. Lay it down nice and level. There we go. It'll do the trick. And then you can lay your oil pan on top of it. Jeez. This thing is heavy. So now normally I would, before putting the oil pan on, I would check the clearance of the pickup tube to the bottom of the pan. But I didn't change the oil pan and I didn't change the pickup tube. So we should be good. I mean, you should do it anyways, but I'm not. So here we go. Pan's going on. In the hole. Ooh. There we go. I should do, make sure she's even. And let's get the bolts in there. And do it the power tool way. we go. Oil pan's on. Now, I want to throw on a filter, but I don't have one handy. Probably either get a Wix or a K&N for this guy. And where's the drain plug? Did it fall out at the machine shop? Ah, darn. Yeah, I think so. Okay, well, the drain plug seems to have fallen off. Oh no, I'm stupid. Never mind. Drain plug's right here. This is this is one of the bolt holes for the differential. It looks like a drain because it goes. Anyways, I almost scared myself half to death. Okay, now we can rotate this thing up the other way around, and yeah, let's rotate. Rotating. Perfect. Now we can get the heads on. Man, this video is going to be long, you guys. I hope you're still watching. This is a long one. Yeah. Anyways, it's a whole engine belt. What do you expect? What do you expect? Okay. We don't need to put the top cover on, or the valley cover, because we're doing the lift plate to get it back into the thing. And we can just go ahead and get the heads on right now. Might as well. I'm excited about this part because I have ARP bolts. This is the driver's side. On there. Okay, now since we're using ARP bolts, we gotta get some of this lube on the threads and on the underside of the heads, top of the washers. So let's go ahead and start her off. Might be a little much, but that's alright. We'll get the washer on there. These washers are directional. Just follow the instructions. You'll be alright. This part is kind of time consuming, but I'll speed this part up for you so you don't have to watch me do this. And then I'll explain the torque sequence. Alright guys, let's torque these guys down. So first pass is 15 foot-pounds. So, oh wait, 25 foot-pounds, sorry. There's 20, 25. So, the order. Alright, next pass is 50 foot-pounds. Alright, next is 80 foot-pounds. So 80 libs. Libs. Man. Okay, the big ones are done. Now we just got to do the little ones, and those are 25 foot-pounds. So let's get after it. All right, that'll do. Now we got to get the rocker arms in there. Oh, I'll just set them in there right now, I guess. Yeah, sure. I'm not going to tighten them all the way. Just tighten them enough so they don't fall out right now. Because we got to rotate the engine over to make sure this cylinder is at top dead center of the compression stroke. Then we can torque these down. And then this cylinder needs to be at the top dead center of the compression stroke so we can tighten those ones down, and so on and so forth. Because you don't want to tighten them down while the springs are supposed to be compressed, because it could give you a false torque reading. These are hydraulic roller Lifters. Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot the lifter, or the push rods. What am I doing here? Oops. I guess we'll just set them in there. One by one. Now, this can go here. We'll just go one by one. Jeez. Okay, those ain't going nowhere. Hopefully, they're not even tight, so. Oh man, left my lube all the way over there. Grab the lube. Grab the lubage. Rocker arm bowls, 22 foot-pounds. Not too bad. Alright, now, one thing I like to do is rotate the engine over a couple of times and then recheck your torque just to make sure. So, you just kind of spin it. Make sure they're all moving. Have a look-see with your eyeballs there. Make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then, go through and recheck. I know some of them aren't on top dead center, but it's okay. As long as you did it right the first time, then it should be good, right? Okay. We're all good. Heads are on, rocker arms are in. So, yep. Pretty much got a long block. I'm not really going to put anything else on until it's in the engine bay. I gotta leave the valve covers off so I can prime the oil system and make sure there's oil getting up to each rocker arm. All the accessories are going to stay off until they're in the engine bay. The valley cover plate's going to be off until it's in the engine bay. The only thing else I'm going to put on, I think, is the motor mounts, which that's not really that fun to watch me do. So this is going to be it for this video. I really appreciate you watching. If you're still watching, I know it's kind of long, but it was a full assembly video pretty much, so that's the first time I've done that. I usually just do little clips here and there and what to do and this and that and there and this and that. But if you're still here, I appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed, just hit that subscribe button. It's easy, takes 2 seconds, costs you nothing, and you get notified whenever I post a new video. And so, speaking of new videos, the next one is going to be me installing this into the Trailblazer and then firing it up and then doing a little bit of tuning so we can get it running and driving. And yeah, so we'll do the whole thing, the whole shebang this time. Yeah, that's going to do it. Stay tuned for the next video, and I appreciate you sticking around. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. LS swap everything. Just do it. It's easy. It's simple. It doesn't cost a lot of money. See ya.